Snow whispered softly as it blanketed the forgotten cabin at the edge of Willow Creek, where a weary German shepherd named Hunter lay trembling, chained and forgotten, shielding his fragile pups from the bitter cold. Who could have left them like this, alone in the darkness, clinging desperately to hope? As you listen, perhaps curled up somewhere warm, I'd love to know where you're joining us from, so leave a comment and let your story blend gently with ours. The biting wind howled fiercely through the barren trees, rattling the frail wooden walls of the abandoned shack tucked away at the outskirts of Willow Creek. Inside, Hunter, a weary German shepherd with deep sable fur now caked with ice, lay trembling, his exhausted body curled protectively around 5 delicate, newborn puppies. Hunter's eyes, once bright and full of life, now reflected only despair and exhaustion. The cold iron chain wrapped tightly around his neck dug painfully into his thick coat, a cruel reminder of betrayal and abandonment. He shivered relentlessly but refused to move, afraid to disturb his sleeping pups, whose soft, tiny bodies desperately sought warmth against his own fading heat. Not far from this hidden tragedy, Evelyn Carter, a gentle-faced woman in her late 60s, wrapped herself tightly in her thick wool coat and ventured cautiously outside her warm home, holding a flickering lantern in one hand. Evelyn had spent most of her life as a beloved school teacher in Willow Creek, her soft silver hair and warm, kind eyes making her a familiar and comforting presence to generations of students. Retirement had left her living quietly, but her heart remained compassionate and vigilant, especially towards animals. Tonight, she had ventured outside despite the storm to search for her dear tabby cat, Muffin, who had slipped through the back door and vanished into the bitter night. Evelyn's steps were slow and careful, each crunch in the snow resonating loudly in the stillness, echoing her growing anxiety for Muffin's safety. As her lantern's dim glow pushed back the darkness, Evelyn suddenly paused, startled by an unfamiliar, distant sound, a faint, mournful whimper carried on the wind. Her heart quickened, and her intuition urged her onward, deeper into the chilling darkness toward the source of that sorrowful cry. Pushing aside tangled branches and stepping carefully over hidden roots, Evelyn soon glimpsed the outline of the old, abandoned shack, a place long forgotten, now standing like a shadowed ghost amidst the swirling snow. As Evelyn approached, the cries grew clearer, each heartbreaking sound causing her chest to tighten. Reaching the shack's splintered doorway, she lifted her lantern, illuminating the haunting scene inside. Her breath caught painfully in her throat at the sight of Hunter, chained and shivering violently, his gentle eyes staring up at her in both fear and desperate hope. Around him, the newborn puppies stirred weakly, barely able to open their tiny eyes to the harsh world surrounding them. "Oh, you poor thing," Evelyn whispered softly, setting down her lantern and slowly kneeling beside Hunter, careful not to startle him. His deep, soulful eyes tracked her every movement, and though weakened, Hunter's protective instinct over his puppies still radiated powerfully from his tired body. Evelyn reached out gently, her gloved hand lightly touching the frozen fur around the cruel metal chain. Anger and sorrow welled up in her heart at the cruelty that had left these innocent lives to such a fate. "You're safe now," she reassured him quietly, her voice trembling but determined. Hunter whimpered softly, his tail barely wagging, an acknowledgement that seemed to hold a mixture of gratitude and relief. Quickly and carefully, Evelyn began working on the stubborn chain. Her fingers, numbed by the icy metal, fought tirelessly until finally the hateful restraint loosened and fell away, releasing Hunter from its cold grip. Exhausted and weak, Hunter made no attempt to resist as Evelyn gently lifted each puppy, wrapping them snugly in her thick scarf, cradling their fragile bodies close against her chest. Finally, she coaxed Hunter onto trembling legs, whispering encouragement to him as they began their slow and difficult journey back through the swirling snowstorm toward her warm, inviting home. Every painful step Hunter took beside Evelyn echoed with newfound hope, replacing the despair that had held him prisoner for far too long. Though weakened and battered by the harshness of his past, Hunter pressed forward, guided now by the gentle glow of Evelyn's lantern and the promise of warmth and safety awaiting just ahead. Evelyn glanced down at Hunter as they trudged through the snow, the wind whispering fiercely around them. In that quiet moment, something unspoken passed between them, a profound bond forged in compassion and trust, signaling the beginning of healing for both Hunter and the kindly woman who refused to let him face another cold night alone. As the storm subsided, giving way to a serene but bitterly cold dawn, Evelyn Carter gently placed Hunter onto a warm, soft bed she'd arranged near her fireplace, carefully laying his puppies next to him. The German Shepherd exhaled softly, his weary eyes gradually closing, feeling secure for the first time in what seemed like forever. Evelyn watched him closely, concern etched deeply into her gentle face, noticing Hunter's shallow breathing and trembling limbs. His dark sable fur, though thawed from the frost, revealed the scars of neglect and exhaustion. But beneath his weakened exterior, Evelyn sensed a fierce, protective spirit, an unyielding will to survive for the sake of his puppies. Over the following days, Evelyn dedicated herself wholeheartedly to caring for Hunter and his pups, meticulously feeding them warm milk, gently bathing them, and providing constant comfort. Despite her efforts, worry gnawed at her heart each time Hunter refused food or lay quietly with labored breathing. His condition showed little improvement, casting a shadow over her small, cozy home. Meanwhile, the puppies grew steadily stronger, their tiny eyes blinking open one by one, revealing sparkling innocence and boundless curiosity. Their soft whimpers transformed into playful yips, their miniature paws exploring the new surroundings, brightening Evelyn's otherwise tense days. Knowing Hunter required urgent medical attention, Evelyn reached out to the only veterinarian she trusted, Dr. Henry Mitchell. Henry was a seasoned veterinarian, nearing 70, whose gentle smile and calm presence had reassured countless worried pet owners in Willow Creek for decades. His hair, silver and neatly combed, framed a face marked by wisdom and deep compassion. When Henry arrived that afternoon, he carried his weathered leather bag, greeting Evelyn warmly as he stepped into her home. "Thank you for coming so quickly, Henry," Evelyn said softly, guiding him toward Hunter. Her voice carried a tremor of anxiety she couldn't quite hide, and Henry, noticing immediately, placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We'll do everything we can, Evelyn," he promised quietly, kneeling beside Hunter to gently begin the examination. Hunter, sensing kindness in Henry's touch, remained calm, allowing the veterinarian to check his vital signs and gently press against his thin, weakened frame. After several tense moments, Henry sighed quietly, his eyes reflecting deep concern as he met Evelyn's anxious gaze. "Evelyn, Hunter is showing some very troubling symptoms. His lungs sound weak, and he's severely undernourished. It's likely he has an infection, possibly pneumonia, due to prolonged exposure to harsh conditions," Henry explained gently, his voice carrying both empathy and honesty. Evelyn's heart sank, tears threatening to spill from her tired eyes, yet she forced a brave nod, determined to remain hopeful. "What can we do for him?" she asked, her voice steady despite the ache within her chest. Henry's warm smile softened the severity of his words, offering a glimmer of hope. "We'll start him immediately on antibiotics and fluids, keep him warm, and closely monitor his progress. Hunter has a strong will. I believe he'll fight, especially knowing those little ones need him." He glanced lovingly at the puppies who now scampered energetically around the fireplace, oblivious to their father's struggle. Evelyn felt a gentle smile touch her lips at their innocent playfulness, their joyful antics bringing light into the room even in such difficult times. Over the following days, Evelyn devoted herself completely to Hunter's care, ensuring he received medication, warmth, and endless affection. She carefully prepared special meals, coaxing him patiently until he managed a few mouthfuls. Gradually, the German Shepherd began to show small signs of improvement. His eyes brightened slightly each day, following Evelyn around the room with newfound trust. His tail, previously lifeless, started to wag gently when she approached, a quiet thank you for her unwavering care. Simultaneously, the puppies blossomed under Evelyn's nurturing touch. Their fluffy coats thickened, their playful personalities emerged distinctly, bringing laughter and joy back into Evelyn's home. They tumbled clumsily over each other, their small paws skidding on the polished wood floor, their tiny noses sniffing curiously at every new discovery. Evelyn found herself smiling more often, drawing comfort and inspiration from their resilient little lives. One quiet evening, as Evelyn sat beside Hunter, stroking his now softening fur, he gently lifted his head and rested it on her lap, exhaling a deep sigh of relief and contentment. It was a small gesture, yet deeply meaningful, a silent acknowledgement of the bond they'd formed through struggle and healing. Evelyn gently whispered words of reassurance, promising Hunter he'd never be alone again, her voice filled with sincere affection. Though uncertainty lingered, Evelyn's heart swelled with quiet joy. She knew challenges still lay ahead, yet watching Hunter's steady recovery and the puppy's joyful growth, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. Together, they'd taken the first hopeful steps toward a new beginning, guided by compassion, courage, and the quiet strength of enduring love. As Hunter's health slowly improved and his puppies filled Evelyn's home with playful energy, she couldn't help but think of the abandoned shack where she had found them. Something about the image of Hunter chained and desperate tugged at her heart, compelling her to revisit that cold place. On a quiet afternoon, Evelyn wrapped herself in her thick coat and stepped into the soft daylight, carefully making her way back to the old, neglected structure at the edge of Willow Creek. Though empty and silent now, a lingering sadness seemed to hang in the air as she stepped inside. Evelyn's eyes carefully searched the dusty floor and broken furniture, hoping to find some clue, some reason behind the cruel abandonment. Beneath an old, weathered crate, something caught her attention, a small piece of folded paper tucked carefully out of sight. Evelyn reached down, heart quickening slightly as she unfolded the fragile note. The handwriting was shaky, barely legible, filled with desperation and sorrow. "To whoever finds Hunter," it began, "my name is Lucas Hayes. I've lived a hard life, and Hunter was the only good thing left in it. But now I've lost everything and have nowhere to go, nothing left to offer him or his pups. Please forgive me. I chained him here in the hope someone kinder than me would find him. Take care of him, please. He's a good dog, better than I deserve." Evelyn's eyes brimmed with tears as she read, the depth of Lucas's pain seeping into her heart. It wasn't cruelty that had left Hunter abandoned, but a heartbreaking act of despair and hope. She carried the letter back home and, as days passed, Evelyn felt compelled to share Lucas's story. It was during one of her visits to Dr. Henry Mitchell that Evelyn first mentioned the letter, handing it gently to the veterinarian, whose compassionate eyes scanned the page silently before nodding solemnly. "Lucas used to do odd jobs around town," Henry said softly. "Always quiet, but decent and hard-working. No one knew he'd fallen so far." Word quickly spread through Willow Creek, traveling from the warm bakery run by Martha Jenkins, who was always first to open her doors each morning, to the cozy hardware store owned by Bill and Nancy Reed. Soon, everyone knew of Lucas's difficult decision and Hunter's incredible resilience. Moved by Lucas's heartfelt letter and the strength Hunter had shown, the townspeople began rallying around Evelyn and her small canine family. Offers of help came pouring in, from donated food and blankets to the generous gift of free veterinary care from Henry. Willow Creek school children even drew heartfelt pictures, showing Hunter as a brave hero, proudly pinned up on Evelyn's refrigerator door. Hunter, once a victim of neglect, became a cherished symbol of courage for the community, capturing hearts and minds alike. His gentle nature and the affection he showed to everyone who visited the cottage endeared him even more deeply to the townspeople. Though Hunter remained cautious and quiet, his strength grew steadily, matched only by his bond with Evelyn, whose kindness seemed to soothe away his past hurts. Each evening, Evelyn gently stroked Hunter's thick sable coat as she spoke softly of Lucas, hoping to reassure the gentle German shepherd that he had always been loved, even in the darkest moments. In those quiet conversations, Hunter would lay his head gently upon her knee, seeming to understand the weight of her words and the quiet comfort Evelyn offered. The small community's acts of kindness gradually built something powerful in Willow Creek, a quiet sense of unity and compassion, inspired by Hunter's journey and Lucas's selfless sacrifice. Together, Evelyn and Hunter had unwittingly ignited a shared spirit of generosity, reminding everyone of the difference a single act of kindness could make. One peaceful evening, as Evelyn sat with Hunter by the warm, glowing fireplace, the puppies curled contentedly around them, she reflected on the transformative power of compassion. The letter from Lucas rested carefully atop her mantle, a constant reminder of how Hunter's past pain had become a source of healing for an entire community. She knew now that Hunter's story was no longer just about rescue or survival. It had become a tale of hope, forgiveness, and the powerful strength found in collective kindness. And as Hunter softly sighed in peaceful contentment at her side, Evelyn gently whispered, "You're loved now, Hunter, by all of us." With each passing day, Hunter's spirit grew brighter, nurtured by Evelyn's loving care and the warmth of Willow Creek's community. It was during one peaceful afternoon, over coffee at Martha Jenkins' cozy bakery, that the townspeople began brainstorming ways to enrich Hunter's life. Martha, a kind-faced woman with rosy cheeks and gray curls tucked neatly beneath her apron, spoke first. "Why don't we make a list of all the simple joys Hunter never had? It's time we show him the happiness he deserves." Her idea sparked immediate enthusiasm among those gathered around the table, their faces lighting up with excitement as they shared plans to create precious memories for the courageous German Shepherd. And so, the list of Hunter's happy days came to life. It began with peaceful walks along Main Street, a chance for Hunter to stroll gently among the townspeople who had embraced him so completely. Evelyn watched proudly as Hunter walked at her side, tail wagging, head held high with quiet dignity. People paused their tasks to smile and greet him, some kneeling to pat his thick, sable coat. His eyes sparkled, reflecting gratitude and trust, embracing the love that surrounded him. Next came warm, homemade meals prepared by Martha herself, who eagerly cooked special dishes of chicken and rice, watching with delight as Hunter savored each mouthful. The German Shepherd, who once struggled to survive, now enjoyed meals filled with care, warmth, and tenderness. Evelyn often smiled softly, feeling a sense of peace settle in her heart as she watched Hunter's once gaunt frame steadily filling out, strength returning day by day. Soon, the community turned its attention to Hunter's playful puppies, each one now showing distinct personalities that charmed everyone who met them. The largest pup, strong and protective like his father, was named Max by Bill Reed, the friendly hardware store owner. Nancy Reed, Bill's wife, instantly adored the smallest puppy, a shy yet curious female, and named her Daisy. Martha chose playful little Toby, whose boundless energy delighted her grandchildren. The gentle puppy with the softest eyes became Rosie, named lovingly by Evelyn herself, while the most mischievous pup earned the name Charlie, after Dr. Henry Mitchell's favorite childhood dog. As the puppies grew, they filled Willow Creek with contagious joy and laughter. Max quickly took on the role of the group's protector, his tiny growls bravely guarding his siblings, much to everyone's amusement. Daisy stayed close to Evelyn, preferring gentle cuddles and quiet companionship, her sweet nature bringing warmth to those around her. Toby became the entertainer, constantly tumbling and playfully barking, delighting the town's children with his cheerful antics. Rosie, quiet yet deeply affectionate, often nestled gently into Hunter's side, mirroring her father's quiet resilience. Charlie, ever curious and lively, led the group into harmless mischief, whether scattering shoes around Evelyn's living room or tugging gently at visitors' scarves. One bright Sunday afternoon, Evelyn and the townspeople organized a joyful picnic at Willow Creek Park, where Hunter and his puppies became the center of attention. Families laid out blankets and baskets filled with food, laughter echoing gently through the park's sunlit trees. Hunter relaxed on a comfortable blanket, his watchful eyes following his puppies as they scampered freely among the townspeople, playfully chasing children and receiving gentle hugs in return. Evelyn sat nearby, her heart full, grateful for the transformation she witnessed, not just in Hunter and his puppies, but within herself and the town she'd always loved. Throughout these precious days, Hunter continued to show an incredible gentleness, patiently enduring endless pats and cuddles from adoring children. Evelyn often found herself marveling at his resilience, his quiet courage inspiring everyone around him. It seemed as though the entire town of Willow Creek had rediscovered the simple joy of kindness and compassion, united by the bond they'd formed with a dog whose heart had never lost hope. Each evening, as Hunter rested quietly by the fire, Evelyn gently stroked his fur, whispering softly of the happiness he'd brought to their lives. "Look at what you've done, Hunter," she'd say lovingly. "You've reminded us of what matters most." Hunter's eyes, deep and wise, gazed into Evelyn's, reflecting an understanding that went far beyond words, a silent acknowledgement of love's profound power. As the days turned into weeks, the bonds within Willow Creek grew stronger. Hunter's gentle presence and the joyful antics of his puppies had woven their way deeply into the fabric of the community, leaving an indelible mark upon every heart. Evelyn knew these days, filled with warmth and tenderness, were precious gifts, moments that would remain cherished memories forever. As the days quietly passed in Willow Creek, Evelyn began to notice the light slowly dimming in Hunter's eyes. His gentle movements grew slower, each step becoming more deliberate, every breath filled with quiet effort. Evelyn understood what these signs meant, and her heart grew heavier, knowing their time together was growing shorter. Yet, despite the sadness, Evelyn chose to cherish every moment, determined to surround Hunter with warmth, love, and dignity during the twilight of his journey. Word soon reached the townspeople that Hunter's health was declining, prompting Martha Jenkins to suggest organizing a special gathering to honor the brave German Shepherd who had brought them together. That evening, under a clear, starlit sky, the community gathered softly in Evelyn's backyard, creating a gentle atmosphere filled with quiet affection. Strings of warm lights gently illuminated the garden, casting soft, golden hues across familiar faces. Hunter lay comfortably on a thick blanket by Evelyn's side, his deep eyes gazing calmly at the many friends who had come to honor him. Dr. Henry Mitchell spoke first, his voice steady yet filled with genuine emotion. "Hunter taught us more than just resilience," Henry said softly. "He reminded us of the incredible strength and kindness, and the healing power of community. We owe him gratitude beyond words." Evelyn gently stroked Hunter's sable fur as the crowd murmured softly in agreement, many wiping quiet tears from their eyes. One by one, members of the community stepped forward, sharing touching stories of moments Hunter had deeply impacted their lives. Bill and Nancy Reed recalled the first time they saw Hunter bravely walking down Main Street, proudly leading his puppies. Martha spoke tenderly about the quiet mornings when Hunter patiently waited outside her bakery, wagging his tail gently at passers-by. Each story revealed the profound mark Hunter had left, a legacy of unconditional love and quiet bravery woven into the heart of Willow Creek. As the evening deepened, the puppies nestled quietly beside their father, sensing the gentle solemnity of the moment. Evelyn looked down at Hunter, seeing a soft contentment reflected in his wise, gentle eyes. She leaned closer, whispering softly, "You've done so well, Hunter. Rest now. We will always carry your love forward." Hunter sighed gently, his breathing becoming softer, his eyelids heavy with quiet peace. Evelyn cradled him tenderly, holding him close as he drifted gently into an eternal sleep, surrounded by the warmth and love of everyone whose lives he'd touched. When Hunter quietly passed, the townspeople gathered silently around Evelyn, sharing the depth of her grief, yet also honoring the beauty of his memory. Evelyn felt their support as strongly as their tears, drawing strength from the community's gentle embrace. Together, beneath the old maple tree that stood proudly in her yard, they carefully laid Hunter to rest, placing a simple stone marker engraved with his name, a tribute to his courage and loyalty. Days later, Evelyn sat quietly with the puppies, gently deciding their futures. Families from Willow Creek stepped forward eagerly, each offering loving homes for Max, Daisy, Toby, and Charlie. Martha Jenkins, smiling softly, held playful Toby in her arms, promising a life filled with treats and grandchildren's laughter. Bill and Nancy Reed proudly chose strong, protective Max, assuring Evelyn he would be a cherished member of their home. Daisy found comfort with Dr. Mitchell's gentle granddaughter, who adored her soft, shy nature. Mischievous little Charlie went home with Willow Creek's librarian, Miss Laura Bennett, whose quiet life was now joyfully disrupted by his playful antics. Yet, it was sweet Rosie, quiet, gentle, and deeply affectionate, that Evelyn chose to keep close by her side. Rosie's gentle eyes mirrored Hunter's quiet strength, reminding Evelyn daily of the dog whose love had forever changed her life. As Evelyn gently stroked Rosie's soft fur, she whispered softly, "You carry your father's spirit within you. We'll always remember him, together." Life in Willow Creek continued, forever enriched by Hunter's quiet legacy. Evelyn often visited the maple tree, placing fresh flowers upon Hunter's resting place, comforted by Rosie's gentle presence. In those quiet moments, Evelyn knew that Hunter's love endured, a permanent part of her heart, and the community he had united through quiet courage and enduring compassion. Love, Evelyn realized, was the true legacy Hunter had left behind, a love that quietly remained, comforting hearts and binding the town together in gentle unity, a love that would continue to inspire them all, long after Hunter had peacefully closed his eyes. In the quiet moments we share with those we love, we often find our greatest strength, and sometimes our most profound lessons. Hunter taught Evelyn, and all of Willow Creek, that true loyalty and selfless love leave behind an everlasting legacy. If this story touched your heart, please consider subscribing and joining our community, where love and kindness always have a home.